This is going to be your general reading for the rest of September 2018. I actually am feeling really strange but good right now because I just received some extremely good news about something that has been weighing on my mind for the past 3 years. I can't go in on here on what it has to do with all I could say is that it has to do with a friend of mine disappearing. That's all I'm going to say, and that I heard some very good news today that is making me feel triumphant for her. So, we'll see what's going on for you for the rest of September, or September in general. Pardon me. My mouth isn't really cooperating with me today. I wonder what's going on with Mercury, or if my Mercury is being affected somehow. So I'm going to try to make sense to you verbally today, but I can't make any promises. Hopefully this will make sense. And so I'm going to do an 11-card Celtic cross spread for you with my spiral deck. And then I'm going to be picking clarifiers this time with Brian Froud's fairy deck for you, just so I have some fresh energy in here. And I hope you guys are well as always. And thank you again for all of your wonderful comments and attention and views and appreciation. I really appreciate it, and it's extremely encouraging for me, especially for such a young channel and a young experience. So I'm going to start shuffling for you. I'm going to do an 11-card Celtic cross spread. After I pick your 11 cards, I'll show them all to you, and then I'll pick your clarifiers and get going. I feel bad for Capricorn because their reading went up to an hour long. I don't even really know how that happened. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of channeling, I lose track of time, and it feels very short to me, but it ends up being a long period of time. Or you know those moments where it feels like a lot of time has passed, and you realize that it's only been 5 minutes. Time is such a strange thing. Okay, this is in Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, and Aquarius moon's best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear about. Oh. You guys are some of the few people that manage to surprise me more often than others. Let's see if you surprise me this month on what's going on for you. Okay. I'm going to start picking your cards. I think this is one of the strangest readings you've gotten so far. Okay. Okay? I'm going to show you your 11 cards, and then I'll pick your clarifiers. Your central experience for September is the 9 of Wands. Your countering experience to that, or challenge, is strength. A couple of different signs have gotten this one. As what is helping you, you have the 2 of Wands. At your root of your being, which I'm very happy to see, you have the 10 of Cups. Your recent past is the 7 of Swords. Your best possible outcome, I believe you got this last month, I think, is the 8 of Wands. Coming up for you in your near future, you have the 2 of Swords. You right now are the 10 of Swords. In your surroundings, you have the Ace of Cups. Very nice. You have 2 very nice cup cards in here. And you don't have an excess of major arcana cards like a lot of the other signs have gotten this month. Maybe this month is kind of a break for you as far as big giant cycles go. In your hopes is the Hierophant. And your general outcome is very nice. I think you got her last month too. This is the Queen of Pentacles as your general outcome. Makes me wonder if you're interested in someone that is the Queen of Pentacles, whether it's a man or a woman, or if this is a prominent person in your life rather than just an experience. Guess we'll find out. So I'm going to pick your clarifiers now. Okay, one more shuffle and then this is for Aquarius's clarifiers for September 2018 in their best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear. Ooh, you falling in love with someone? Or in love with someone? Okay, here we go. Well, just be patient with me. I know this is the most boring part. This looks really, really specific to me and makes me wonder if there's a particular person watching or a few of you watching that really, really bad need to hear about this, whatever it is. I'll try to read it in a number of different ways. Ooh. Okay, I picked way more clarifiers than I thought I would, but I just wanted a little bit more information. Sometimes I get sick of working with the same tarot deck over and over, or just the tarot system, because there's so many different ways you can read it. It's good to get extra cards to help explain what exactly is going on. So hopefully this makes sense to you guys. This is a very precise, almost specific reading. I'm going to try to read general readings into it for you. So, pardon me. Okay. Your central experience for the month of September is that you are wrapping something up. Wrapping up actions that you've taken. I almost get the feeling that you're kind of over this and you want this to be done with so that you can move onto future projects, future things that you want to be doing other than wrapping this thing up. It feels like this has been an ongoing action-oriented situation. It could be you've had to take on some roles that you don't really like having to take, where it's taken a lot of energy out of you to do this. It almost feels like you've been doing this for a very long time, and you're finally wrapping up what needs to be wrapped up with this so that you can let it go and move on to a completely new thing. So what I got with this originally, this is the Brian Froud Fairy deck, you guys, if you haven't seen it before. This is one of my favorite decks. You got Luminous Doom, and so it may be that you're battling with sadness or depression over this situation that you've been in for a long time that you're wrapping up now. It could be that you've been possibly, to some extent, feeling sorry for yourself or having an Eeyore attitude about something. Maybe at one point you had a great deal of faith or optimism about whatever this is, but it's gotten to a point now where either you've been working with people who show this kind of, oh goodness, it's just not going to work out, or I'm just not good enough, or it's that Eeyore voice. And I picked 2 clarifiers more after that to try to figure out exactly what this is. Some of you, or all of you, may even know exactly what this is, but I kind of need to know too. This is some kind of situation that needs to come to an end. This is death. Something needs to come to an end in order to transform so that, or let this go so that you can move onto a completely new thing. It could be that you're sad to see this thing go, or people in the situation are sad to see this thing go, even though it almost feels like you want this to go. And so your other clarifier is the Piper, which is all about music, it's all about harmony, it's all about gentleness, softness, and it's also about empathy. It could be that you need to have more empathy for yourself, or you need more empathy from around you. Perhaps you haven't had enough empathy towards you from other people, or you may be extremely empathic yourself, but you have had a hard time finding other empathic people. When we meet each other, we instantly recognize each other, and we hold each other up in ways that no one else that don't have that degree of, don't have empathy to that degree. That is much needed when you give it away to lots of other people and you don't get enough empathy in return. There's kind of like a longing here for wrapping up something old that has brought you a certain amount of disappointment, and you're not really sure if you can fully bring this into being just yet until this old thing wraps up. But it looks like it is being wrapped up and it is changing. Perhaps your own energy is changing, or your own emotional language is changing. Your own emotional energy is being transformed. Perhaps your old way of possibly dreading things, or dreading worst possible situations, reading negative things into things that may or may not actually be happening. You are fully transforming and embracing a completely new way of handling things, or seeing things, or feeling about things, that has a lot more to do with magic, empathy, softness. Maybe you want to pursue music, or you want to pursue something that has to do with music, or music is leading the way somehow. You want to bring more harmony into situations. You want to see more harmony in the world around you. You want to see people making an effort to be harmonious with each other. You want to see people going more towards their dreams, or feeling free enough to really say out loud where they're actually coming from, or how they actually feel about matters. Something, you may have been surrounded by people. That's what it is. You may have been surrounded by people around you that have a very negative outlook, or are pessimists, or have a very limiting way that they look at things, and this has leaked out onto you while you're trying to wrap things up. And so you're eagerly awaiting the end of this thing so that you can get away from this energy and work towards finding more energy that is like the Piper. That's what it is. Sorry, guys. I tend to stutter every now and then. It's just part of the channeling process. It's almost like a radio station. You know, sometimes the radio station is coming through loud and clear. Sometimes it's fuzzy and has a lot of static. Sometimes it's like those downloads where there's a massive amount of information that's coming out all at once, and it gets clogged in the tubing, and things stutter temporarily while it catches up. So your challenge. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a similar message. Your challenge. You have strength first. Strength. And then you have the collective of pixies. In this card, the story is that the pixies have to work together and work as a collective, or as a group, to keep the world turning, to keep the plants growing, and to keep everything coming into being the way that it is supposed to. They make this happen. Their work that they do together is dancing. They dance collectively together in order to generate enough energy to feed everything, so that everything is growing the way that it is supposed to. This card is a lot to do with collective spirit and collective cooperation in order to best have things come about, where people are working together, or spirits are working together, where no one is better than any of the others, none is less than any of the others. They are one spirit and yet individuals all at the same time. Excuse me. So your challenge seems to be that you really want a collective to work with that can generate more energy together than you trying to accomplish this on your own. It's very much the spirit of Aquarius, you guys. Very much the spirit of humanitarianism and working together with groups. Very much a part of who you are. Next to it is your opposite, which is Leo, which is all about passion, wishes in your heart, enough strength and energy to keep things going, to manifest proper boundaries and respect for yourself and for others, so that everyone is being acknowledged for their own individual gifts that they bring to the situation. It's kind of like a melding of the heart with the collective. or strength with the collective. But this is your challenge, so perhaps you haven't found your people yet, or you haven't found your collective yet that you want to be working together with to perhaps start a completely new path. Maybe there'll be something else in here to say what that path is, but I'm sure you know what your path is. You guys are quite intelligent and aware. But something about this feels like your challenge is you haven't been around the right people, or you haven't been working with the right people, or you have the wrong energy in the people around you. And you're really trying to pay attention to what really truly matters for you and what you need in order for you to feel happy, which is the right energy around you or the right energy to work with. So what is helping you? Ooh. I'm just going to read them together instead of separately. As what's helping you, you have the Two of Wands with Taten the Sliff. Taten the Sliff is all about swift communications and swift ideas, new ideas, a plethora of amazing ideas, communications of all different kinds, and the fluid energy of ideas to be able to be almost like a hummingbird. It can go backwards, it can go forwards, it can change at the drop of a hat, it can change direction instantly. It's very quick. The Two of Wands is all about thinking about new horizons, or looking at your potentials, possibilities, and your possibilities for what your options are. What are your options? What are your choices you have in this matter? What could you choose? What things do you have available of you to step towards? Feel like you're wrapping up something old and you're already thinking about possibilities of where you would like to go after this or what to do after this. Perhaps you're being called to a distant location or a different location, or of traveling, or opening up your ideas, your brilliant ideas, to the world instead of just one location. Whether it's through travel, conferences, computers, just opening up your ideas to be able to reach many more people or many more places than you did before, or new horizons and new places and new people are calling to you. So I feel as though what is helping you is you have either received or you are about to receive some very exciting news. This could be somebody who contacts you, or some kind of energy that contacts you and lets you know about a really amazing opportunity, but it may involve drawing you away from where you have been, either figuratively or literally. It's something different. It may need to be proved still that it is possible on a material plane, because at this point it's just an idea. But it's an exciting idea, and because this is what's helping you, I'm getting that most likely this is something that can come into being, and something that can be cultivated and brought into existence, or something that's formulating already, and somehow you have been awakened to this or become recently aware to this. So okay, at your root of your being, you have the Ten of Cups. So you're feeling quite blessed, quite excited, and you are definitely seeing things happen. You are definitely receiving messages and intuitions, visions, and signs and omens of things that are coming into being. What is coming into being? Even for you, being the wizards that you are, even this may be surprising to you, or a pleasant surprise to you. But so the Ten of Cups is emotional fulfillment and happiness, of feeling as though your dreams are coming true, or are coming into full harvest. And this one is Laced, the Moon's daughter. which is one of two sisters in this deck. She is the lighter sister that has to do with optimism and receiving signs, visions, intuitions, omens, but they speak in the realm of the subconscious or the realm of Neptunian dreams. And so instead of getting words or getting concrete, rational messages, these are more Neptunian. These are more like pictures in your head or signs that you get, almost like they're riddles that you have to solve. You may start noticing things happen. And even though you know it's trying to tell you something, it takes a little while of mulling it over, soaking it up to really get what it's trying to tell you. This is all about inspiration and magic. And this particular fairy loves to play tricks on people when they're sleepwalking. When you're sleepwalking, you are not aware. Even though some parts of you are aware and you believe you know what you're doing, you're actually not completely aware. And so she loves making people trip into holes in the dark in order to get them to wake up and suddenly realize or become aware of things that they were not aware of before. That snaps them back into inspiration. So if you have been completely, fully aware of what your blessings are or what you would like to come to fruition when it comes to your dreams and wishes, or what would bring you true happiness to see manifested, then it feels as though you are getting concrete signs, concrete messages, and concrete shifts in consciousness in order to bring this thing about. If you have taken a Eeyore approach to this of not fully having faith that this can happen, it may be that she may make you trip into a hole in the dark to make you aware that you can have these things come about and it is not an illusion. Or you don't, to snap you back into being positive, in other words. So, in your recent past. Okay, I'm going to read these two together and then I'm going to show you the other one, which is your remedy. This looks difficult. It could be that in your recent past, either you have been secretive or something or somebody around you in the recent past has been secretive. There is a potential here for dishonesty or for possible being tricked or trying to trick someone else or someone trying to trick you. Or it can also be just hang on to an idea or hang on to a plan until you're absolutely sure that you're going to do this. And so you may appear as being secretive by other people when really you're just not sure yet. And you don't want to announce anything until you're sure. Which is reminding me of the juggler here. Indy. He seems very Libran to me. This can be indecision. This is very much like the Two of Swords in the regular tarot. This is a feeling of indecision, not knowing what to choose, not knowing what you want, not knowing how to proceed, not knowing what to do, not knowing who to believe. If there's been some kind of situation where you suspect that there's been dishonesty or something has been held back from you, you're not really sure who to believe on this matter, or you're not really sure whether to trust your intuition or your head or what to believe in when it comes to this. You may be very confused, or have been rather. But ultimately, whether it was outside of you or within you, what helped you in the end was just listening to your wise self within, or listening to any elders, so to speak, that have been around you. Elders don't necessarily have to be people who are older. It's an inner elder of wisdom, of a patient, slow way of looking into the depths of things in order to really understand the truth of any matter, of listening to your wise self. Perhaps there were some wise people or wise energies around you in the recent past that led you to really be able to see things for what they were. Or perhaps you found this in your own being to trust your own wise self within more in addressing this matter, or just even understanding it. So that was your recent past. As your best possible outcome, this is reminding me of what is helping you. So I'm going to show you this one first and then another one. So your best possible outcome is that there are a lot of things happening now. If there has been some kind of a standstill in the past where you feel as though you weren't seeing progress or you weren't seeing any action happen from things that you have implemented or things that you have initiated, now your best possible outcome is you are definitely seeing things happen. Things are definitely in motion. There's almost a flood of new opportunities all at once, or new ideas or new actions you could take. This could have something to do with travel or traveling around in order to connect with the right energy or the right people or the right situations. And so first I'm going to show you this one. Pardon me if I seem a little spastic, you guys. So when I look at these two together, let's put it in the other direction for you. This man in the picture is looking not only at the future wand that he's holding and the horizon behind him, but he is also gazing at all of those other wands that are flying around from the winds of change. It feels as though while you are wrapping up old things, you have realized you're not surrounded by the right collective, or you're not in tune with the right collective, or something about the collective you've been working with is not exactly on a similar wavelength as you or similar energy as you. Or they could be, but you need to bring more energy in, or more people in, or find new people to bring in to this situation, whatever it is. And so you have a lot of opportunities. He looks like he has his favorite future opportunity, which is the one that he is holding forward. The one behind him is what he has already done, or what he is familiar with as far as doing things goes. The one that he's holding seems to be his pet dream, or his pet wish, or his big passion that he really is interested in going into. And then at the same time, he's got a million other things, other opportunities that are possibilities in this matter that are still blowing around. Or it could be that his pet dream is involving a collective of sorts, and so he's waiting for the right people or the right ideas or the right actions to come to him. It feels like those wands are called to him, or they're being blown at him. You know, if you look at this cloud that is blowing, the wind that is blowing, it looks like originally perhaps the wands would have gone straight forward, but they magnetically felt this man there and decided to turn around and head straight towards him. And obviously you can be a woman or a man. I'm just saying him because it's him in the picture. So this is your best possible outcome. Remember, this is what's helping you, is to stay focused on what you truly want, or the potentials that are possible in this, to open up your mind to the potentials of the situation and what you ultimately may have to choose or go towards. But it feels like your best possible outcome are these things are headed your way. You're about to get major messages of all different kinds from multiple people, possibly, that are trying to find you so that you can manifest together. And this thing that you are manifesting feels like it is something you care a great deal about, and it perhaps is something that you have already planted seeds on or started. And now it's growing. It's growing, expanding, things are finding you, things are finding this new thing that you care very much about, that would bring you a great deal of joy that you're being led to. So that's your best possible outcome. This is an amazing reading, you guys. So in the future, near future, you have the Two of Swords, which is reminding me of, this is your near future. This is your recent past, or one of your aspects of your recent past. So it feels like you're almost your mind is almost tempted to go back to that state of not being sure, or doubting, or not seeing all of what's on its way or coming to you. Perhaps all these wands are flooding towards this person or you, but in the future you don't see them coming quite yet, or you're not aware of them quite yet. Or attention is about to be brought to you about what is coming to you, but for now you feel locked up in your head in the near future, or you're tempted on some level to go back to that mental state, perhaps because you are familiar with this state. Or, yeah, just something like that. So your clarifiers is, I am so happy to see this for you. This is the Singer of Courage. A singer in this deck is quite a bit like a Major Arcana card, where it's a very large archetype, and it's the archetype pure and simple of just straight up courage. Having the courage to move through your fears. It's not always the absence of fear or getting rid of fear first so that you can have courage. It is moving through the fear. And so in the near future, you will be tempted to go back to a state of doubt, or go back to a state of not being sure, not knowing how to move forward, or not seeing all of what's available to you, but you will find it in you to move through this feeling out onto the other side, to continue to act, to continue to be brave and courageous about what you're doing, regardless of what your monkey mind is doing or trying to lead you back to. So just stick with bravery. Overcome your fears by moving through them. And I am happy, very happy to see this in your near future. You have the Fairy Godmother, which is one of I think this is probably my ultimate favorite card in the fairy deck. And earlier, while I was shuffling, you'll have to excuse me, while I was shuffling, what kept on wanting to come out was the fairy that was kissed by the pixies. And that makes me think of a collective of pixies, which is your challenge. And the fairy who was kissed by the pixies is all about love. Either falling in love, finding people that you love, connections with people, loving what you do, all different kinds of love. And so I feel like whatever this is that you want to be continuing with and continue to grow for you is something you very much love. And you may even have a love of your life involved too in this. So you have the Fairy Godmother in your near future. And she's a giver of gifts. She's a giver of grace. Just when you thought that you were headed towards disaster, the Fairy Godmother steps in and gives you what you need. As in all of the fairy tales. Think about all of the fairy tales where the hero or the heroine came across bad times, where it seemed as though everything was doomed, or it was not going to happen. The Cinderella realized that she wasn't going to be able to go to the ball no matter how hard she worked, and so she's at a point of despair. Or everyone is always in a state of despair when she appears, and she says, don't be in despair. Here's a magical gift or a magical tool or something that will help you. But it always takes the initiative of the hero or the heroine in order to take the gift and do something with it. So she gives you the gift. She gives you the breakthrough. She gives you the blessing or the tool that you need that comes out of the blue when you are at your most lowest with what you're trying to do, where you've almost given up faith or hope. And so I see you as being given a great gift. It may seem small, it may seem huge, but it's going to be up to you to take this tool or this gift and do something with it. If you choose to be brave and courageous and take this gift and move forward with it, regardless of what your monkey mind is trying to make you believe, I see you as doing great things or having amazing things happen. So, you right now are the Ten of Swords. This is a card of painful endings or painful realizations of endings, or an ending you didn't see happening. But this can also mean an ending of a way of thinking that no longer served you, where your own outmoded thinking processes have done you in, so to speak, to the point where you have to pay attention to this because you don't want your old limiting thought patterns to be able to stop your vision from happening. And so you have this card to go with it, which is the Pook, which is a shape-shifting fairy. It's a very confusing fairy. It's the bad in the good and the good in the bad, where everything is jumbled up and mixed up. It's extremely confusing. But this is a card that has to do with transforming your mind, where you become aware of different ways of looking at things or new realizations about things that your mind was stuck on. That's what the nature of shape-shifting in this case is all about. It's just when you think you've had it figured out, it changes. Just when you thought that something was really bad for you, you realize the good in it. Just when you thought something was amazing and good, all of a sudden it becomes bad. And it's really happening, this confusion, in order to make you aware that perhaps your mind has become a little bit too solid or too defined. And really at this point, your defined mind is somehow limiting you, especially with your craft, which is this card. This is the Master Maker, which always reminds me of Aquarians and Capricorns. This always reminds me of Saturn, this card. The Master Maker is about becoming as close to a master as we possibly can with our craft, but that comes about by constantly pushing yourself to try new things or new ways or to refine your craft. You know, in a way, there is no such thing as becoming a complete master, because you can always get better. You can always learn more. You can always expand more. You can always refine more. There is no such thing as a wall or as a limiting set, defined place that you end up getting to, and then that's it. It's a constant journey. And so we become better and better and better at something by practice, by pushing ourselves, by trying new methods, by refining methods, by continuously finding where our limits are and then pushing our limits just a little bit to see what we are actually capable of. And so this is how the master becomes a master, is by constantly learning more and incorporating more and having more and more efficient things come into being. The Master Maker makes magical crowns, enchanted swords, great works of art that are magical and have healing and magical abilities. He makes refined, beautiful things, very fine nets that are as strong as iron but as thin as silk. And so whatever your craft happens to be, or whatever your talents are, or your skills, or what you would like to create with your life, this says right now you need to change your thinking, allow your thinking to not be quite so defined, to look at things in a different way, to see the intricacies of things more, rather than just thinking of things as being this way or that way. Or your thinking processes are changing. You're understanding things in a new way, but this new way may be a little confusing at first. So in your surroundings, you have the Ace of Cups. I'm thinking you have just fallen in love, or you are falling in love, or you're about to fall in love. Or you've been in a long-standing relationship for a long time, and the love in it is being renewed or reawakened again. And that aside, if this doesn't have to do with relationships, as in romantic relationships, in your surroundings, you could possibly be having a baby being born, or something new come into being in your life that makes you full of excitement and love and joy. And I think I showed this to someone else this month, but I want you to take a really close look at this young lady with her giant golden skeleton key. And so the story with this is that in order to unlock, this is an ace, which is a brand new beginning. This is just the beginning. And cups are emotions or love or joy or magic. It's the divine feminine. So this young lady was given a magical giant golden key by her fairy godmother. And how the fairy godmother got that golden magical key in the first place was from the master maker who made the key in the first place, to give to the fairy godmother, to give to this young lady. And through her initiative and her use of that key, she has unlocked the vase full of magic, where now the magic is pouring into her life and things are starting to happen. And so in your surroundings, you have done something, or you are doing something to unlock this magic into your life, where you're seeing things in a new way and you're becoming aware of more magic in your life and potentials and possibilities for a new experience for yourself that brings you a great deal of emotional fulfillment. You just have to be aware of the signs or pay attention to messages. And so your hopes are to heal, to evolve, to expand, to create situations, internal situations, external situations, to create what you want in earthly reality, to manifest what you wish. And anything that has stopped you from feeling as though it is possible for you to do this, or you have it in you to do this, you are now becoming aware of whatever that is that stops you and releasing it, or trying your hardest to release this. If you need help releasing this, you can always ask your fairy godmother to help you. And if you notice, let me see if I can zoom this in where you can actually see it. He is holding a golden key in his hand. Actually, the glyph, this in my deck, I love the Hierophant because in this one he is ruled by Virgo, Sagittarius, and Chiron, the wounded healer. I don't know if you can see it. It's attached to his beard. It's hard for you to see it, but the glyph or the symbol for Chiron in astrology is a key. It's a circle on the bottom, and the top part of the key, or that unlocks the lock, is on the top. And so you are being given a key. You're being given a key. The key, you may have not recognized the key just yet because your mind is in its monkey mind state. But if you can ask the divine for help, or focus on taking initiative towards magic, you can unlock whatever needs to be unlocked so that this thing, this vision that you have, can begin. Fully begin. It's already begun, but it's escalating now. And it takes your initiative and your belief in being able to use this key. And also, Chiron's key is considered the key of knowledge. And the Hierophant himself is the speaker of ageless wisdom. And so is Chiron. Chiron is the great teacher and the great healer. And he holds a great deal of knowledge that he wants to share with humankind. All you have to do is take the key, or find the knowledge, or find the clue. Okay? And so, your general outcome, you got her again. You are definitely making things happen. This can also be someone that you are in love with, or that you may meet that you fall in love with, or this could be a partner. And love aside, this can be an important person to you. This could be an ally, a dear friend, a partner, a collaborator, somebody that you trust a great deal, and someone that you value in her wisdom and the things that she is able to know in a practical way. She's an amazing manifester. She's the queen of manifestation, physical manifestation. And she's very comfortable with that role and very sure of herself in a humble way. So this is your general outcome, is you can manifest what you want, no problem. And it is entirely possible. And not only that, it's already happening. But you may have an ally that you have already met, that you already know, that's already involved, or someone that is on their way who can help you with this further, or give you backup, where you can back up each other. This can also be you. And so the other one is Lasgana. I never know for sure how to pronounce these. This is the swamp frog fairy queen. And she is all about buried treasure in the bogs and the swamps where she lives. Other people would never go to the places where she goes because, let's face it, bogs smell bad. It's full of fertility, growing plants. Lots of life live in swamps and bogs, but it's also a place of stagnancy, which is where the growth comes from, is the mud that is extremely filled with positive bacteria and all different kinds of things. Things are simultaneously dying and coming into life in bogs and swamps. And so a lot of people are afraid of bogs and swamps because, let's face it, there's a lot of weird plants, there's a lot of giant bugs and snakes, there's a lot of life in them, and it also smells. And you can also become afraid of getting swamped or getting stuck in the mud, or God forbid, sinking in quicksand where you can't get out. It takes a very brave soul or someone who is in tune with the bog or the swamp in order to navigate through it, or to be able to fully enjoy it for all of the hidden buried treasures. You can think of buried treasures, magical golden keys that are stuck in the mud on the bottom of the bog. But this fairy here is absolutely not afraid of bogs or swamps. She is completely at home in there. And not only that, she finds the best treasures because she is familiar with navigating the bog and finding the treasures. This is all about adventure and taking risks and being brave. And trying new things, doing new things, having adventures, seeing what treasure you can find that is buried. Interesting. And so have adventures, take risks, believe that there is treasure you are finding if you haven't found it already. You may have found some of the treasure so far, but you have more treasure to find. Interesting. So between your two outcomes, your best possible outcome is that something is on its way. Multiple things are on their way towards you so that you can further cultivate, grow, and nurture this new beginning that brings you a great deal of joy. And they're on their way, so it's not quite the right time to decide yet what to do, or not all of the pieces are there yet. And to be patient, but also to have faith that this is actually happening. Your general outcome is to be aware of buried treasure or hidden treasure that perhaps you thought was a stinky situation, but it turns out something about it ends up being a total surprise to you. And there may be some kind of a jewel of a person that you discover, or more about someone that you discover that makes you realize you perhaps stumbled upon something much more valuable than you thought. So hopefully that made sense and helped you in some way. I wish you all the best. Many blessings to you. I apologize for stuttering and getting clogged up sometimes, but there isn't anything to be done about it. I could shut this off and erase it and start all over, but sure enough, 10 minutes into it, I'd start stuttering. So thank you for realizing I'm a human being and I'm not perfect. And thank you for realizing that about yourself and everyone else. Thank you for being such wonderful, amazing wizards and doing all of the things that you do. So I love you and take care, and stay tuned for a little end blurb at the end of this to let you know some announcements if you would like. Okay, see you later. Hello everyone. This is just a little end note for you to let you know that as well as being an intuitive, I'm also an artist, and I've just been commissioned to make 30 wind spirits that are sculptures that hang from the ceiling. And so I need to get that done in order to be able to pay my bills and feed my kid and all of that wonderful stuff. So I'm just letting you know I'm putting out all of your general readings for September out all at once, and then I'm going to be finishing this commission and then hopefully getting your bonus readings out by next week at the latest. The good thing about that is that you'll probably be able to see my sculptures behind me when you do get your bonus readings, and see if you like my art at all. Also, I wanted some feedback about the bonus videos. I do know that there are people who watch those. I would love to get some feedback on whether or not I should even be including health at the end there. I know that people are interested in the love and relationships and in the career and money. I'm just wondering if doing the health reading at the end is really necessary, or if people are watching those, or if they help in any way. If people are more interested in career and money and relationships, I would rather focus on those two things for you. So if anyone's brave enough to mention to me whether or not you actually watch the health sections, whether they're valuable to you, whether I should cut them out altogether and just focus on the other two. So I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Oh, I also wanted to say that I realize these are still late. Living in such a rural area, it's actually hard. Jobs are hard to come by here, and so I do a lot of odd jobs and things on the side in order to pay my bills, as well as doing readings and art. But I am going to be putting an option down below in the description box in case there's anybody out there that would like to donate to my channel at all. I realize it's kind of early to be asking for that at this point, but it would help me out quite a bit if you have it to give, and if these benefit you in any way and you appreciate these readings. Even if it was $5, I could use anything at this point. Also, I'm also an astrologer, and I have been one for professionally for at least 18 years now. I would like to get to a point with prosperity where I can take extra time out in order to possibly put some free courses on this channel for astrology, numerology, many other things. I actually read palms. I read astrology charts of all different kinds. I read tarot cards, and I also read tea leaves. So if there's anything about those things that you would like to know about, I've noticed that on YouTube there's not a whole lot available on things like Lilith in your chart, or Eros and Psyche, or any of the asteroids. So if there is anyone out there that would like to see videos about those concepts, donating to the channel would really help me with that. It would give me enough time and space to be able to sit down and knock them out instead of scrambling around on the side trying to come up with enough. So thank you for patiently listening to me ramble, and I will see you soon with your bonus readings. For now, hopefully this will suffice. And next time I see you, you'll see some wind spirits. Okay, take care. I love you guys. Bye.